कुंज बिहारी। जय राधा माधव कुंज बिहारी। जय गोपी जन वल्लभा गिरिवरधारे। जय गोपी जन वल्लभा गिरिवरधारे। जयो यशोदानंदन ब्रज जन रंजन। यशोदानंदन ब्रज जन रंजन। यमुना तीरा वनचारी। यमुना तीरा वनचारी। जयो राधा माधव कुंज बिहारी। जयो राधा माधव कुंज बिहारी। जयो राधा माधव राधा माधव राधे। जयो कृष्ण बलराम जय कृष्ण बलराम। कृष्ण बलराम जय कृष्ण बलराम। जयो वृंदावन धाम वृंदावन धाम वृंदावन धाम जय वृंदावन धाम। जयो गौरनिताय 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 गौरनिताय। जय जय प्रभुपाद 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 जय प्रभुपाद। जय जय गुरुदेव 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 जय गुरुदेव। श्री हरि नाम संकीर्तन की जय। So we are very fortunate to have with us His Grace Arjun Priya Prabhu. Yes, because there is one special event, that is Incorporation of ISKCON, that happened in 1966 in America. Also, it is Chaturmasya's first katha, so we'll have the importance of Chaturmasya also. So, because there were two topic, so I said, why not invite Arjun Priya Prabhu also? And he'll cover the more important topic. So let us welcome with a loud round of applause His Grace Arjun Priya Prabhu.
We'll begin with prayers. ॐ अज्ञानतिमिरन्धस्य ज्ञानाञ्जनशलाकया चक्षुरुन्मिलितं येन तस्मै श्रीगुरवे नमः। श्रीचैतन्यमनोभीष्टं स्थापितं येन भूतले स्वयं रूप कदा मह्यं ददाति स्वपदान्तिकं। वन्देऽहं श्रीगुरो श्रीयुतापदकमलं श्रीगुरून् वैष्णवांश्च श्रीरूपं साग्रजातां सहगना रघुनाथान्वितं तं सजीवं साद्वैतं सावधूतं परिजनसहितं कृष्णचैतन्यदेवं श्रीराधाकृष्णपादान् सहगना ललिता श्रीविशाखान्वितांश्च नमो विष्णुपादाय कृष्णप्रेष्ठाय भूतले श्रीमते भक्तिवेदान्तस्वामीति नामिने नमस्ते सारस्वते देवे गौरवाणी प्रचारिणे निर्विशेषशून्यवादी पाश्चात्यदेशतारिणे नमो महावदन्याय कृष्णप्रेमप्रदायते कृष्णाय कृष्णचैतन्य नामिने गौरत्विषे नमः। हे कृष्णा करुणा सिन्धु दीनबन्धो जगत्पते गोपेश गोपिकान्त राधाकान्त नमोऽस्तु ते तप्तकाञ्चन गौराङ्गी राधे वृन्दावनेश्वरी वृषभानुसुते देवी प्रणमामि हरिप्रिये वाञ्छाकल्पतरुभ्यश्च कृपा सिन्धुभ्येव च पतितानां पावनेभ्यो वैष्णवेभ्यो नमो नमः। जय श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंद श्री अद्वैत गदाधर श्रीवासादि गौर भक्तवृंद हरे कृष्णा 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 हरे 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 राम 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 हरे हरे। Hare Krishna. So it was Shyam Rasik Prabhu who invited me here, and I was actually supposed to just come and hear his lecture, but he forced me that you also should speak something. So I'll not speak much, but I'll try to speak something. Then he'll also add. So today is a very important day, Incorporation of ISKCON in New York. It is said there in New York, but that was the first step to incorporate ISKCON. So ISKCON is like a boat which is there for us to cross this material world. We cannot imagine a world without ISKCON actually, for those who have taken shelter of it. There may be many people who may think that okay, it is just an organization, and just like many other organizations, it is one of them. But those who are in ISKCON, we understand that it is not just a simple organization, but one which can deliver us from this material world and give us the highest perfection of life. But for this to happen, it was not a simple process. It just did not come like that. It could have come, but always Lord Krishna, he wants that his devotees be glorified. It is not that Krishna cannot establish the organization. One devotee asked Srila Prabhupada, Prabhupada, all the Vaishnava acharyas are all powerful. Prabhupada was speaking about Bhakti Vinod Thakur. So he was telling that Vaishnava acharyas are empowered by Krishna. They are all powerful. So that disciple of Prabhupada asked, Prabhupada, then why didn't he preach the message in Western countries? So Prabhupada very humbly said, that service he kept for me. So anyone can do it, one who is empowered by Krishna. But Krishna wants to glorify his devotees. So always there is a special pastime. So the struggle which took for Prabhupada to, from the point where he left his home, uh, when he took Vanaprastha, and from there to the point when he established ISKCON, and then ISKCON became established firmly. Till that time there was great struggle. If anyone of us have read Srila Prabhupada Lilamrit, we can understand that. So when Prabhupada left his home as a Vanaprastha, he first went to Jhansi. And in Jhansi, he started his preaching activities. So first of all, he took a step whereas he sent a advertisement in newspaper. If any one cultured family is ready to sacrifice one son in the service of Krishna, please give him to me. So this was unique advertise. Will any father or parents give? ले लो एक भगवान के लिए एक मेरा लड़का. So Prabhupada was ready that okay, he thought that anyone would be happy to give because Krishna was in that mood. Sorry, Prabhupada was in that mood. Yeah. So, but no one responded. Prabhupada's idea was, if I get some disciples, I will train them when they are children, and then I will spread Krishna consciousness. There was no response. Then after speaking to so many Indians, actually that time the mood in India was, we have recently been liberated from British, and they were hearing about the great development in the Western world, military, economy, and so many things. And the mood in India was, we also have to now become developed. So anywhere where Prabhupada would go, they would always tell, yes, we all know this. हमका खबर है. We know who is Krishna. We know Bhagavad Gita. We know how to follow. We also wear tilak kanti mala. That time India was much more cultured. They would wear dhoti and Gandhi topi and so many other things. So that time they were thinking that they were very already knowing all this. So Prabhupada, he couldn't attract so many people in India. So he ultimately established, took a building. That building was, I think it was Bharati Vidya Bhavan connected to that. Uh, so they rented him out, and Prabhupada started his preaching activities there. And so many people, some people would come, like satsang, which we have, not even 100, much lesser than that. And not young people, old people would come. And Prabhupada would preach to them. And this went on for some time. But afterwards, one of the governor's wife, she wanted to make a Mahila Mandal in that city. And she chose that building. She said, this is a very good building, and I would want that. So because of influence, what happened? Prabhupada was removed from there. Okay. So Prabhupada said, okay, I can't be here. Then Prabhupada went to Gaudiya Mutt, in one of his god brothers' place. And there he took up a responsibility of BTG. That time it was Srila Prabhupada Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur's Harmonist magazine. So he became the editor. And Prabhupada was well educated, very experienced in philosophy, very senior person. So he took up a very nice role, and they were very happy. But because Prabhupada was not an ordinary person, he was dynamic, he wanted to do much more. So he started giving some suggestions. We should increase the circulation, we should write better articles, and let us make it very famous. So in this way, he started suggesting and wanting to increase the activities. So one fine day, he got a letter, and in that letter, in a very cultured way, it was written, "This place is not for very well-educated person like you, and we don't think we'll have some role in which you will be satisfied. So I think you better be, means you will not be happy here." So Prabhupada understood the message that this is not a place where I can grow and I will get to fulfill my spiritual master's message. So his spiritual master's message was, in the first meeting when they met in 1922 in Calcutta, that time his spiritual master, as soon as Prabhupada bowed down to his spiritual master and he got up. And when their eyes met, immediately his spiritual master said, Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur, that you are a well-educated person. You should preach the message of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu in English language. So Prabhupada was, first of all, shocked in one sense. He thought this is my first meeting and he was expecting some pleasantries. Oh, welcome, you are come after, sit here, and some other things. But this was a direct instruction. So Prabhupada didn't know what to say. And then Prabhupada immediately replied, but who will listen to this message? We are still under foreign rule. First we have to be independent, then we will be able to preach. So then Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur said, no, this message is so important, it cannot wait for any political situation. It has to be preached immediately. So Prabhupada he already was a very religious and spiritual person. So he understood, yes, what he is saying is true. And Prabhupada says there that this is the first time when I accepted defeat. Otherwise in debate I was never defeated. So, and he said in my heart I had accepted that person as my guru. So that is the first instruction he got. And similarly, when in 1936, when Srila Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur was ill and he was supposed to go back to Godhead, again Prabhupada, he wrote a letter to his spiritual master just to confirm that what he has to do. So Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur wrote back to Prabhupada and said, you should take this message in for Western countries in the English language. So again it was confirmed. Twice he got that same instruction. And in this way he started doing his part in whatever small way he can do. But once while reading Bhagavad Gita, he came across a shloka. That shloka was Vyavasayitatmaka buddhi ekeha kurunandana. So in that shloka, the purport, Srila Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur, he wrote, this shloka means Vyavasayitatmaka buddhi, means one pointed focus or one goal, fixed goal. So our buddhi should be like that, not Bahushaka. Bahushaka means going everywhere. So he writes, our Vyavasayitatmaka buddhi means we should make the instruction of spiritual master as our life and goal, life and soul. Whatever our guru has told, that instruction should be our life and soul. That should be our life mission. So that time Prabhupada understood, yes, my mission is to preach this message in Western countries. And being a Nitya Siddha, he knew that somehow this is supposed to happen in my hands only. This is what is, and of course Krishna doesn't reveal how it is going to happen, but he knew, I have to do it. But days were going, Prabhupada, he took Manprasthi at the age of 56. Then he went to Gaudiya Mutt, there he didn't get cooperation. And once what happened, there was application from Japanese government that if any Indian, means they had a cultural event where everyone has to display their culture in an environmentalist way, in a natural way, as nature. So Prabhupada took 10th canto, and in 10th canto there is a description of Vrindavan in autumn season. So very beautiful description. So Prabhupada, what he did, using that as a basis, he wrote nice explanations, also some nice drawings, and sent it to Japan, thinking that, okay, if I'm selected, I'll be able to, if not west, at least I'll start with the east. And the Japanese government was impressed, and he got a letter that you can come and attend our program here. But the condition was you have to arrange your own tickets. So again, Prabhupada got a hope. So he went to the central government and showed that, see, I already have invitation from Japan. Please sponsor my ticket, because I'm going to represent India. But again, no reply. They were not interested in this. So again, that opportunity went. So wherever Prabhupada would go, he would meet big people and he would say, do something. Somehow, let me give a ticket to go to US. And everyone would think, What will this old man go and do there? How will he establish the movement? So no one took him seriously. So Prabhupada, once Prabhupada was distributing magazines, he was writing back to Godhead in a leaflet form. And he was the writer, he was the editor, he was the printer, means he would go and approach the printer and he would get it printed. And it was such austere thing that he would go in hot sun sometimes. In Delhi, the hot weather is very cruel. So once what happened, while he was distributing, uh, a bull came and hit him from behind. And because of that heat, he actually fell unconscious. So he was brought by some gentleman, he was nursed back. And in that age, he would actually go everywhere, and especially he would go to tea stalls, because people sit there in leisure time. Nowadays, it is replaced by bars, but people would go at tea stalls, and that time he would distribute. So there, one of the gentlemen, they suggested, what will this leaflet do? This leaflet, people will read and throw it away. Better if it is in the form of a book. So Prabhupada took it as a indication from his spiritual master. Yes, I should work on this. Until a person doesn't have a book, he doesn't have a identity. So he thought that I will. And so he took up a mission of translating Srimad Bhagavatam in English language. So it was 60 volume project, not one or two. So he began. So for first volume, he translated it, and then he typed it, made it into a manuscript, and he wanted a sponsor. So someone suggested that you should go to Gita Press owner, Hanuman Prasad Poddar. So Prabhupada understood, you'll get sponsorship there. So Prabhupada had to go, but he didn't have money. He has to go to Gorakhpur. So he had very limited money, and with that money, if he goes there and doesn't get sponsor, again it is a waste of money. So he was thinking, he was in two minds, what should I do? But he said, let me take the risk. So he had only that much money as ticket. So he went there and he showed his manuscript. And with that, Hanuman Prasad Poddar, who himself is a scholar, he read it and he was very impressed. He said, this is a very good quality translation and very nice purpose. I will sponsor. So he sponsored that first volume. Then Prabhupada again wrote the second volume. Then he again wanted a sponsor. So now where to go? Someone says you should go to Bombay. So because he had that first volume backing, so he made a trip to Bombay, and there Sumati Murarji, she sponsored. So in this way, Prabhupada took great trouble and he printed his, actually that itself is a big story, how he printed. It is not, he himself would arrange for paper, he would take a coolie and go to the printer. He would himself sit, and he didn't have any assistant. It is not that he has one or two assistants who are going to edit it. Again, see, first mistake is what while typing. Again, when a printer makes a stencil, again there are mistakes. Again, it has to be read. So in this way, there are multiple editions which have to go on in that printing process. So he did it himself, and then he was a seller. He was the one who would market. So once while just he met one person, his name was Gopal Agarwal. I think Gopal Agarwal was in US, his father. So he asked him, he told that my son is in US. So Prabhupada, just as a matter of, he said, why don't you ask him to sponsor my trip? So this person, he took it seriously. He thought that, okay, let me write a letter. So Prabhupada didn't know. He just spoke this, and he didn't again approach him. But his son also thought, my father has told me to sponsor one sadhu, and most probably he will not come. But as a respect for my father, I will sponsor. So he wrote a letter back that if this sadhu visits US, I am ready to host him. So this is what is required to get visa in that time, because either you have to have money or you should have a sponsorer. So this letter came, and Prabhupada had not expected, but he got it. He was very happy. And one step is done, that I have got a sponsor in USA. But now how to go there? Like now itself, it is a lakh rupees to go. So that time also it was very expensive. So who will sponsor me to go there? So again he went to Sumati Murarji. He knew that she is a very nice devotee of Krishna, Bal Gopal. And he went, and you can't just go and approach her because she is a big lady. So he went and spoke to the secretary and said that you can somehow convince that I want to go to US and let her sponsor. She had a um, what do you call it, cargo company which would send ships to US regularly. So Prabhupada said that at least give me a sea route, not any flight or anything. I'll go by sea. So as soon as she heard, she immediately said, uh, "You will actually, Swamiji, आप मर जाएंगे उधर. You will die. What to speak of reaching US? In the way only you may die." So Prabhupada said, "Nahi, nahi, you don't worry about that. I will do." So when Prabhupada sat at the door outside, and when Sumati Murarji came out, that time he approached her again. That somehow you please allow me. So looking at his sincere desire, she said, "Okay, I'll give a pass." So she gave a return ticket to Prabhupada. Said, "Okay, you go there. If not, then you can again come back." So then Prabhupada was ready. And Prabhupada collected his 3-volume Bhagavatam. That was his major luggage. And he went to USA. So we'll do a fast forward. So when he went to US, there also so many challenges. First of all, he went to that Gopal Agarwal's house. He stayed there, but it was Pennsylvania. It was a village. And there he didn't get much to preach. There were old ladies who were very good to him, but there's a thing that he cooked for himself, and also he shared a fridge in which they would keep their beef and other things. So Prabhupada would, as a sannyasi, he was so pure, but he had to face this. Prabhupada was very, he didn't trouble his host in that way. But Prabhupada was thinking, I have come to preach, but this place is not conducive for my preaching. And he knew that New York is the most famous city in the world right now. So he said, I will go there. So Prabhupada, he left Pennsylvania and himself he went to New York. And in New York, he actually didn't have much money, so he took up a place in ghettos. Ghettos is like, you can say, Bombay slums, which are there. So that place is actually inhabited by hippies, drunkards, drug addicts, and all kinds of people. The environment itself, like Brahman Prabhu was explaining, there you would always find people lying with overdose of LSD, marijuana, and various kinds of alcohol. People would, you could very commonly see people vomiting because of drinking alcohol. Violence was there. So everything was in the worst place because Prabhupada had no other place to be. And somehow he had to share his place with a person called as David. He was in one sense nice. He had some interest in spirituality. But his thing was, I want realization now, immediately. अभी मुझे भगवान को देखना है. I said, no, you follow nicely, be patient. It is not so cheap. So Prabhupada would make him understand. But because of this understanding that I want immediate realization, they would want to go to drugs. That through drugs I will get some higher uh, feelings. So he would always be overdosed with drugs. And one day, because he got overdosed and became acted crazy, and he came to attack Prabhupada. He said, I will kill you. So a 70-year-old man, and he is young, 20 years. So Prabhupada, he fled from there. Somehow he saved himself and went on the streets. Now he is on the street, which is very cold. That night he doesn't know where to sleep, where to go. So after some time, his well-wishers, he had few more well-wishers, young children only, hippies. They said, okay, we'll give something, we'll help Prabhupada, we'll help this old man. So they would call him Swamiji. So they took Swamiji and gave him a place in a storefront, which was supposed to be a shop, but was converted. So behind he would stay, and that storefront. Meanwhile, he had actually lost a lot of his valuables also, like typewriter and other things. So in that way, he thought, okay, now Prabhupada always kept on trying. He sent letters to Indian government. Say, I'm already here and I'm ready to make an Indian temple here. So please sponsor. But India at that time didn't have any much. He said, who will spend on this person? And he sent to his Gaudiya Math. He said, at least send one assistant, one brahmachari, young brahmachari. He can come and assist me. I will preach. So there was no reply. As a courtesy, they sent some kartal and mridang. Okay, you at least use. And he sent to his well-wishers, donors. Donors said, uh, we don't have much hope. We'll not spend there because you are also old. You please come back. It's not an easy place to preach. So Prabhupada never gave up hope. He didn't have any help. But finally, he said he himself started some programs, 3 days a week. So some hippies would come. Usually hippies would come, sit, and they were not normal audience. They would be in their own, uh, what do you call it, intoxicated state. So, and especially Prabhupada would do more of kirtan. And that kirtan, if you see old kirtan, you'll see everyone with different kinds of instruments. So one day when Prabhupada was in the garden, he met one person called Robin. It was in 1965. So he saw this some different kind of person. He had never seen such a person. So he asked him, why have you come to America? So he said, oh, I have a society. I have an international society. We have temples all around the world. I have many disciples. So Prabhupada spoke this with such great confidence. Because, of course, this was not just bluffing. But Prabhupada knew it's just a matter of time. Because this is my mission. It is mission of Srila Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur and it is a mission of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. It is going to happen. So this was 1 year before establishing ISKCON. So then one day, when in such a program, one devotee brought a nice advocate to meet for a program. So Prabhupada met him. His name was Goldsmith. So Prabhupada said, as soon as he saw advocate, he said, I want to register a society. So Prabhupada already had his 7 purposes ready. His trust deed, memorandum, everything was ready. He was very clear. And this Goldsmith said, okay, it's easy. It's not a tough thing. I can do it for you. So he was a gentleman. He said, I will do it for you. So he said, do you have all your purpose and everything ready? He said, yes, I have. So he said, but I also require some members in your society. So that time Prabhupada's members were none. It is not that there was some committed people who were ready to support him, finance him, work for him. No. In that ISKCON, there was only one committed member. That was Srila Prabhupada. So Prabhupada said, okay, I will arrange. So one program was going on, that weekly program. So after the end of the program, Prabhupada announced that we have Mr. Advocate Goldsmith here with us. So today we have something to announce. So Goldsmith stood up and Prabhupada announced that we are going to form an international society for Krishna consciousness. So everyone was shocked. He said, what is this international word for? It doesn't even have a single temple till now. And Prabhupada is ready to establish international society. And of course, before that, there was a discussion that why you put word Krishna in it. He said, you put God consciousness. Prabhupada said, no. We know who is God. So why put God there? Vague term. We know Krishna is God. We'll put God, Krishna consciousness. So Prabhupada said that I want some volunteers to sign for me. So there were a few hippies who were there. Said, okay, we'll help Swamiji. What is there? So some of them volunteered and they gave their name, signature, and some documents. And this is how ISKCON in 1966 New York it was established. So in that, what do you call it? Those who had signed in that, except one, Mukunda, his name was that time Michael. Except him, none of them are there right now. It's only Prabhupada and him who are there. So in such a situation, Prabhupada established this international society. So that day in itself was not a big event. It is not that like now if we are establishing something or opening something, we'll call people, we'll distribute sweets, and it is a big event. But that time it was only Prabhupada's desire. But more than that, what it turned out to be is very powerful. We know that that same day it was the beginning of great spiritual movement, which was then about to spread throughout the world. So in this way, it is a very exciting book, Srila Prabhupada Lilamrit, and it has Prabhupada's struggle from in India, then in New York, and continues. And we can see how Prabhupada was determined and committed. And we should all read this very beautiful book, Srila Prabhupada Lilamrit. So even before reading Bhagavatam, when we read, that was our inspiration. That oh, if this person can do so much for us, then why can't we do even a small part? So Srila Prabhupada said that ISKCON is my body, and the printing press is heart. So we should do preach for spreading this message of ISKCON. And ISKCON is not just an organization; it's actually non-different from Krishna, because pure message of Krishna is being spread in ISKCON. It's not like any other, just a person's, one single man's mission. No, that mission is non-different from mission of Krishna and Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. So that's why it is a spiritual body, and it's a spiritual activities, and it is all, everything is spiritual here. So when we work in ISKCON, we stay in ISKCON, we naturally get spiritual benefit.
Hare Krishna. So this was the story of the incorporation of ISKCON and what Prabhupada had to go through to give us this organization. So we get everything on a platter, practically. Yes. So Gauranga Prabhu was once explaining that what our acharyas have done. It is like if somebody is sick and he goes to the doctor, and the doctor, traditional Vaidya tells him that the disease that you have, there is a special jadi booty that is required to be treated for your disease. So where will you get that jadi booty? Oh, you'll have to fetch that jadi booty deep in the jungle. So deep in the jungle, where is that jungle and how deep? So then the Vaidya says, oh, you walk 16 kilometers, you will get a river. Cross the river, take a right, and again go 6 kilometers. You will get a circle. You will get a bazar pit. From there, take a left, go ahead 5 kilometers. You will get, the road will vanish. You will have a jungle. In the jungle, you take a right and go straight ahead, keep going, it becomes dark. You will get a cave. In that cave only you get that जड़ी बूटी. अब इतना सब मेहनत करके वो कौन जड़ी बूटी लाएगा? So what our acharyas have done is they have gone there, they have got that jadi booty, they have made a paste of it, they have put it in the spoon, and they have brought it in front of us like this, and they are telling us, open your mouth. And we are here questioning, why should I open my mouth? So if we see all the acharyas and what they have done for us, it's exactly like you are getting everything on a platter. So this is the day where we reflect on the mercy of our predecessors. And we understand the role that they have, even though they are not there, the role they had in bringing up us. You see, usually we feel connected to someone who's in front. The way naturally the way mind works is out of sight, out of mind. Yes. आँख के सामने से कुछ चला गया, आँख के सामने कुछ दिखता, हाँ इसके बारे में कुछ तो करना था नहीं, वो आँख के सामने से चला गया, ओ हरि बोल. Yes. This is how we are caught up in so many things. This is how mind is. So these tithis, they bring us back on track. Yes. And it's also another very important parva. It is the starting of Chaturmasya. Chaturmasya, the 4 months of rainy season. Why they are important? Because there is nothing which material, what happens is just like our one day is of 24 hours. And of this 24 hours, 6.5 to 7 hours we sleep. Almost like one third of the day we rest. So similarly, for the devatas in Swargaloka, one full solar year is like their 24 hours. And for one third of that, they sleep. So full solar year is of 12 months, and one third of that is 4 months. So these are the 4 months where they sleep. That is why this Ashadhi Ekadashi is also called Deva Shayani Ekadashi. So God sleep. And after 4 months, there is Kartiki. It is called as Utthana Ekadashi. Gods get up. So उनका yes 9 p.m. to 6 a.m. का कोटा हो गया. Yes. अगर उनके पास मोबाइल हो तो वो अभी भी सो नहीं रहे होंगे. Yes. उनके आधी रात में just like when we sleep, and then in the night we are not only sleeping, we do like this also. हम इस साइड सोते हैं, उस साइड सोते हैं, पिट के बल सोते हैं, पिट के बल सोते हैं, सब कुछ करते हैं हम. वैसे देवतागण भी, there is देव शयनी, and after 2 months there is पार्श्व एकादशी. Yes. पार्श्व means पीठ. So जहाँ पे करवट बदलते हैं वो है पार्श्व एकादशी. So devatas are sleeping like this, they will sleep like this now. And then after 2 months, then is Utthan and they wake up. So when they are sleeping, they naturally do not come down to bless us for any of the important materialistic materialistic auspicious events. You see, that's why there are no muhurtas now. अगले जो मुहूर्त निकलेंगे सारे वो सब तुलसी विवाह के बाद निकलेंगे. अभी क्यों मुहूर्त नहीं है? क्योंकि यज्ञ करने के लिए देवताओं का आशीर्वाद चाहिए. सो अनलेस वी हैव द blessings of gods, there is no yajna that culminates. So because they can't come, say suppose somebody gives you an invitation of a party. When is the party? 1:45 a.m. अरे यार कौन जाएगा पार्टी में 1:45 a.m. सोने का टाइम है वो. सो वैसे ही हम अभी यहाँ मुहूर्त निकालेंगे और भगवान को बोलेंगे भगवान थोड़ा आना नीचे आशीर्वाद देने के लिए. भगवान बोलेगा कौन जाएगा अभी 1:45 a.m. सोते रहो. सो इसलिए ट्रेडिशनली इन 4 महीने में कोई मुहूर्त नहीं निकलते. सो बिकॉज देर इज नॉट मच टू डू फ्रॉम एन वर्ल्डली ऑस्पिशियस एक्टिविटी पॉइंट ऑफ व्यू, दिस इज द टाइम दैट वी गो इनवर्ड्स. बाह्य रूप से कुछ नहीं करना है तो आंतरिक रूप से अपने आप को सशक्त करते हैं. सो दिस इज द टाइम दैट वी गिव फॉर साधना. So we see traditionally ours was a more of agrarian society. So now just at the onset of monsoons we have Perini. Marathi we call it Perini. And after Perini everything keeps on happening automatically only. वो 4 महीने के बाद जब वो वीड्स आएंगे और साथ में पौधा आएगा उसमें से वीड्स निकालने हैं, अब तक कुछ नहीं करना है. सो किसान इज फ्री. यस. And the other major section of society that time were sadhus. Now साधु वो क्या करेगा बाहर जा करके, इस समय में कीचड़ होता है. So usually sadhus carry stick and kamandalu or mala. So where will they carry umbrella? Sadhu is not Chaturbhuj, he has only 2 hands. So in one there is danda and the other there is mala. So what they do, wherever they are at the beginning of Ashadh, they stay there for 4 months and they concentrate on their own sadhana. So the 2 major aspects, the material aspect of society, the agrarian society, the farmer, he has no work to do. The spiritual aspect of society, the sadhu, he has no work to do. So then they all engage in Hari Katha, Hari Path, Hari Kirtan. So these 4 months are important for that. And traditionally, we see we have two followers. One is Shiva followers, and the second is Vaishnava followers. So Shaiva and Vaishnava. So Shaiva usually celebrate the first month of Chaturmasya, Shravan, Bhadrapad, Ashwin, and Kartik. Yeah. So Shaiva usually celebrate the Shravan month. So Maharashtra, Karnataka, Goa, we are all traditionally Shaiva. So we celebrate Shravan. And North India, East India is majoritarily Vaishnava. They celebrate more of Kartik. So this is how basically Shravan, and that's how we see in the Arti. Ashadhi Kartiki Bhakta Jana Yeti Chandra Bhagya Madhye Snana Je Karti Darshana Hera Matre Taya Hoya Mukti Keshavasi Namdev Jive Bhave Vaditi. Yes. So these two Ekadashis are said to be very, very important, Ashadhi and Kartiki. So how to take this 4 months period so that we can benefit from it maximum? First is the most important thing, we increase our chanting. So this is the time to increase sadhana. One may question, अगर भगवान सो रहे हैं तो मैं साधना करूंगा, उनको क्या दिखेगा? फायदा क्या साधना करने से? सो हम जब सोते हैं हम भूल जाते हैं हम कौन है. भगवान ऐसे नहीं है. भगवान योग निद्रा में ही है. भगवान अभी भी योग निद्रा में ही है. हम सब जागे हैं, हमारा सब संसार चल रहा है, लेकिन भगवान अभी भी योग निद्रा में ही है. हमारा पूरा संसार, ब्रह्मा जी का पूरा जीवन, दैट इज वन इनहेलेशन एंड एक्सेलेशन ऑफ महाविष्णु. यस्य एक निश्वास इति कालम यथा अवलंब्य जीवंती लोम विलजा जगदंडनाथाः विष्णुर्महान् स इह यस्य कला विशेषो गोविंदमादि पुरुषम तमहम भजामि. So our one Satya, Dwapar, Treta and Kali is 43,20,000 years. Such 1,000 cycles is equal to 12 hours of Brahma. 43,20,000 into 1,000 solar years is 6 a.m. to 6 p.m. of Brahma. And because he has worked so tirelessly from 6 a.m. to 6 p.m., he sleeps from 6 p.m. to 6 a.m. So 86,40,000 into 1,000 is 24 hours of Brahma. Into 30 becomes his 1 month. Into 365 becomes his 1 year. Into 100 is his lifespan. And that is one breath of Mahavishnu. Yasya ek nishwas. So imagine what is Mahavishnu. Yes. And we are trying to please him. So what at least we can do? At least we can increase the chanting of our holy names. So whoever is doing 2, 4, 6, 8, increase at least 2 rounds in this Chaturmasya. Even if you are doing 16, make it 18 or 20 for this Chaturmasya. And after that you can reduce it again, no tension. So chant more. Yes. Those who are non-vegetarians, give up non-vegetarianism. At least eat vegetarian diet 4 months. Yes. Third, if possible, give up mattresses, sleep on a hard bed. That is also a good tapasya. Yes. So if on floor we can put such satranjis and we can sleep. If not, अगर पीठ को ठंडी लगती है, so bed पर से mattresses निकाल देंगे, ये डाल करके सोएंगे. At least sleep on a hard bed. Yes. And One more thing is try not to get angry, control anger. Because anger is the pathway or the entrance to Rajas and Tamas. In the second chapter of Bhagavad Gita, when Krishna explains how a person falls down in his consciousness, yes, he says, Dhyayato Vishayan Punsah Sangasteshu Upajayate Sangat Sanjayate Kamaha Kamat Krodho Vijayate Krodhat Bhavati Sammoha Sammohat Smriti Vibhramaha Smritir Bhramshat Buddhi Nasho Buddhi Nashat Pranashyate. So, Dhyayato Vishayan Punsa, one is thinking about sense gratification, Sangasteshu Upajayate. One develops a desire to enjoy actually. Sangat sanjayate kamaha. Because of that intense desire to enjoy, lust develops. Till here, it is rajas. Dhyayato vishayan punsa sangasteshu upajayate sangat sanjayate kama. This is rajoguna. Kamat krodho abhijayate tamoguna. Krodhat bhavati sammoha. Forgetting, forgetfulness is tamas. Sammohat smriti vibhrama, losing our memory, tamas. Smritir bharmashat buddhi nasho, tamas. Buddhi nashat pranashyati. So the beginning gate of rajas and tamas is krodha. So even if things might not be happening our way, but at least for these 4 months, control anger. So if these simple things we can follow, we'll really benefit from Chaturmasya. So chant more. Yes. Try to be vegetarian. Try to sleep on hard bed. Try to control anger. Yes. If these 4 things we can do, we'll see Chaturmasya will give us a lot of realizations. Because ultimately, Krishna, Lord Vishnu's statement in Padma Puran is, when I'm awake, if somebody is worshipping me, I favor him. But if somebody is, I'm sleeping and somebody is still worshipping me, I favor him doubly. Because he knows that I am not there to bless him, still he is coming to me. I favor him doubly. Yes. So, Chaturmasya is very important. On 13th of July it began. Already 9 days have passed. Yes. 120 days may say 10 days chale gaye. 110 days remaining. Let us make the best of these 110 days and please the Supreme Personality of Godhead. Thank you very much. Hare Krishna. Krishna Janmashtami is spiritual. It is not material. Materially auspicious means something that is related to material sphere. Body, money, home. This is all related to material sphere. Krishna is transcendental. Everything related to Krishna is transcendental. Janmashtami, Nityanand Trayodashi, Balram Jayanti, Ekadashis, they are all called Madhava Tithi. Madhava Tithis are all spiritual. They are all Bhakti Janani. Satisfies? It is materially good also because the next day we get to eat a lot. फर्क क्या पड़ता है हम तो अपना मजा मार ही रहे हैं